when things are going bad, don't get all bummed out, don't get startled, don't get frustrated. If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another Iron Will podcast with me, Shane Warner, and
John Chase.
So what this podcast is all about is we are trying to get stories from people that have been through a traumatic experience in their lives and came out a different person.
Yeah, they have all created an iron will. So what is an iron will? A burning determination that cannot be stopped or hindered by anything, willing to do anything to get a desired outcome, extremely resilient. So what we like to say is just keep punching.
Yeah. So sit back and relax, and we're going to start the show. Are you ready then?
Yeah, ready when you guys are.
So today we have on the podcast with us London Simonsen, and how I know London is from Fit Club Gym. He actually owns it. And
we got another gym owner in the house.
He owns it
right.
with
Josh Fafita.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to have Josh on the podcast in an upcoming one. Anyway, I just want to talk to London about his childhood and like his college days and stuff like that, and just let him like share his story and whatever. But so take it away, London.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Shane and John, for having me guys on. I love this podcast. I was just telling you guys, I don't know if I'm super qualified to be on here compared to some of the amazing people you've had on, but I'm
sure
grateful to get to share my story a little bit. So I'm kind of a local boy, honestly.
You're from Salem, right?
Yeah, so South County. So I grew up in Spanish Fork and Salem. So moved to Salem right before high school started, and moved around as a kid. My parents just every couple of years decided they wanted to build a new house, which is still kind of consistent, but now doesn't affect me quite as much.
They still like to move every couple of years.
Every couple of years, they still bounce around, and every house, this is going to be our last one. And it never is. It's just a couple of years, and then they're on to the next one. But I grew up. I was playing all different kinds of sports growing up. So I played football, basketball, baseball, and soccer.
That's awesome.
And,
Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Well, for a little while. And then actually in 6th grade, broke my arm playing soccer.
Okay.
So the one sport you probably wouldn't break your arm is how I played. And then after that, I was like, well, it kept me from playing football and basketball. So I quit soccer after that. And then every year just seemed to kind of drop off another sport until it was only basketball.
Okay.
Mainly because not good enough of an athlete to play 4 sports and be the best at any of them. Yeah. Right? So,
it's hard.
So
it's a lot of time commitment.
A lot of time commitment. I mean, to get good at one sport, the time commitment.
So you just wanted to focus that energy on only basketball? Yeah.
Well, I was the best at basketball out of all the sports, and I enjoyed it the most, honestly. And it was, I remember my dad came to me, I think it was like the start of 9th grade or somewhere along in that time frame, and he said, you can either pick one sport and you'd be the best at it, or you can play all of them and just be middle.
Because I'm sure you loved playing the other sports you were playing, and it's a hard thing to just pick one.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, to be competitive and play at a high level in any of those sports, it's a year-round season. Right?
For sure.
It's not
and
just
to reach college level like you did.
Exactly.
It
hard. Requires a different level of commitment than what I was able to do with playing multiple sports. Right. I mean, some people are just naturally gifted, amazing athletes. Patrick Mahomes can play either professional baseball or football.
Yeah, right.
And so some people are gifted like that, but I wasn't one of them. So I picked one that I loved the most and was the best at. And fortunately, my body kind of followed with that, and I grew a few more inches those next few years.
That's awesome.
That's how you grow.
You just pick something.
You pick basketball.
One sport, yeah.
I pick basketball, and I'm going to get taller.
You just have to pick something that requires you to grow. Yeah. So then basketball just became my life, right? So I practiced a couple times a day for a lot of years, and then my goal the entire time was to play college basketball, right? I mean, that's kind of the goal of any young kid, and then the NBA and yada yada, right?
Yeah.
But I was fortunate enough to play college. I played at Snow College for a few years. Did have a goal of moving on past junior college level and playing at the Division I level. I feel like most players probably have that same passion, right? But kind of just how the cards fell, wasn't able to do that, and ended with junior college playing.
So I went to Snow College like as a senior in high school, and just to visit the campus. Yeah, but it was crazy, man.
Was it?
I don't know if your experience was anything like the one I had, but it was pretty wild.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
you found the wild crew.
Oh yeah,
there's a few wild crews down there. The basketball team wasn't one of them. Okay. Well, I was down there.
Yeah.
Before I got there was some wild teams I heard kind of getting into some trouble. But the team I was on all 3 years that I was there was pretty straight. Luckily, I mean, I probably would have been in a lot more trouble.
Oh yeah,
had they not been.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I got in enough trouble as it was. I didn't need any of my friends helping me get there.
Yeah. Right.
Snow was a really, I mean, I think Snow's an awesome school. I think the professors are amazing. I like how the professors are able to take time specifically for you, right? Because they don't have 150.
Yeah, their classes aren't the biggest.
Their lectures aren't like 200 kids in a lecture, right? Like most universities are. They're like 30 to 50 kids. So it felt like honestly just like a glorified high school.
Oh, okay.
At the time there was like 5,000 students there.
And what were you studying?
I was studying entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Yeah. So
perfect.
So he didn't get his MBA, he got his MBA.
That's right. Well, actually, I didn't even get that, but I wish.
Didn't go to the NBA,
but maybe MBA.
Yeah.
I was actually fortunate enough I mean, a lot of kids, when they first get to college, they spend the first few years trying to figure out what they want to do.
Right.
And that's common, right? That's totally normal.
Sure.
I think that there's a lot of ways to figure out what you want to do. You don't necessarily have to go to college or to, put yourself into debt to figure out what you want to do. But, everybody takes their own path. And I was fortunate enough, I really only went to college for basketball. And I was, I had a full ride. And so I wanted to keep playing, and it was paid for. So obviously I went, but I kind of have known since I was a kid what I wanted to do. It was I didn't have to spend those few years trying to figure out what I wanted to do. It was just which path was I going to take.
So did you go to Salem Hills High School?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do many people go to college to play basketball from there?
No. Let's see. They've been a school for about 12 years now. 13, I think, because my sophomore year was the first year that they opened.
When did I meet you? I met you like senior. Were you a senior?
I was going to be a senior.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. John was training me while I was playing basketball. Yeah, in college he was training me as well. And it was actually probably the most athletic I've been. I remember because I was jumping higher than I've ever been, running faster, everything. And then I was playing pickup and rolled my ankle really bad, and it was like put me out for like a month and a half, 2 months. And it was right before the season started, I kind of like made all this progress all summer and then had to stop and
bad
couldn't
timing.
move. It was just how it went, right?
But you still went to college.
Yep. Still
Full
college.
ride.
Full ride. Yeah. Never graduated. Junior colleges are usually 2-year schools,
Yeah.
but because I redshirted my first year, it became a 3-year thing for me. But back to your question, there's not a lot of kids from Salem that have played college basketball. I think there's me. I know of one, maybe 2 others in the last 10 years.
Wow.
You probably get more baseball and football.
Yeah, there's been quite a few, baseball, football players, some really good football players. Porter Gustin came out of Salem.
Is that like a small town thing? It seems like if it's a smaller town, it's like baseball is kind of a bigger thing. Is that
Spanish Fork is known for baseball.
Okay.
But so a lot of people from Salem went to Spanish Fork before
Salem was built.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
all growing up, Spanish Fork was the baseball town.
Yeah.
Right? They were one of the best baseball teams in the country for a long time, just at that level, at a young kid level, right? In high school and everything.
And rodeo.
Yeah, baseball and rodeo.
I knew a few rodeo kids that were just, dang, tough as nails.
Yeah. I mean, and at that point, it was Salem Hills wasn't around, so everybody that lived in Salem went to Spanish Fork.
Yeah.
Or Payson. If you were, because I went to Payson, and a lot of the kids, after Payson or Salem was built, a lot of the kids that would have been zoned into Payson went to. So it kind of split.
The Elk Ridge or whatever.
Yeah. Because I had friends from Elk Ridge that were going to Payson with me.
Right. Yeah.
But we were the wrestling champs for a couple years.
Yeah.
And
Spanish Fork is really good at wrestling too.
Are they?
Yeah.
Spanish Fork has some good history with sports.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not so much in basketball.
No,
not at all in basketball. Actually,
let's put this into perspective. People listening. So we're talking about like Utah isn't the most populated place in the first place, but like we're talking about these places that aren't really rural, but they are smaller town.
Yeah.
And when you got smaller town,
especially when I went to school and to school, like it was a smaller towns.
For sure.
Back then.
Yeah.
When I went to Payson, I could make it to school without hitting a stoplight at all. You know what I mean? And I lived in the town over. I lived in Santaquin. And then I could make it all the way, the 15-minute drive all the way to Payson without even hitting a stoplight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this kind of, so viewers or listeners listening to this, you can kind of get the perspective of like what we're talking about. It's a smaller town feel. There's a lot of really tough kids that maybe, at least my generation, they grew up
fighting,
farming and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they were just naturally strong.
They worked. They grew up working, right? Working in wherever their parents
I got in a fight with a hick one time and I lost.
Get your ass kicked.
No, this is what he said. He's like, man, my horse kicks harder than that. I'm like, I'm out, dude.
I'm not punching as hard as a horse kicks.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, that's it is kind of a rural place, right? I mean, it's got a honestly a unique demographic. I feel like South County does because you have I'd say the people that have moved in the last 10, 15 years probably aren't as much farmer as
they're not.
That have been here for 40, 50 years.
And that's so you kind of have came up.
So you kind of have a unique demographic where there's a mix of you've got your farm kids that grow up on farms, and you've got your kids that come from a little bit of money and parents that have moved. Because
there's a lot of people that move down there, and some nice places down there. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
So it was kind of a unique demographic, and Salem was a good school. I had amazing friends, and so it was good. But
so I have heard that term like red shirting, but I don't really know what it means.
Okay.
Can you?
Yeah, absolutely. So red shirting is when you take a year to you practice with the team. You're technically on the team. You can still have a scholarship, everything else, but you just don't play in the games.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a preparation year.
Okay.
Is what that is. And then there's a gray shirt. This was when I was playing, right? I think they've changed the rules a little bit now.
Yeah.
But there's like a medical red shirt, which if you get injured before you play too many games in the season, you can take that. So it saves you a year.
That's
they have a few different eligibility rules depending on kid situations. And so the reason I actually I redshirted my first year, which I wasn't planning on doing, right? So I was planning on playing my first year and then serving an LDS mission and then coming back and finishing my second year, and then